Life before Spring Boot. Once upon a time, in the ancient land of Java development, there existed a powerful yet cumbersome tool known as traditional Spring. This tale dates back to the early 2000s, around 2003, when Spring Framework was the go-to solution for Java developers. Let's journey through this land and see what life was like before the birth of Spring Boot in 2013. The village of core dependency injection. In the heart of the village lay core dependency injection. Developers, like skilled artisans, spent hours crafting XML configurations, painstakingly wiring beans together. Imagine having to manually set up each piece of your household plumbing every time you wanted a glass of water. That was the life of a developer dealing with core dependency injection. The town of MVC. Next, we venture to the bustling MVC town, where web applications were built. Here, developers laid out the structures of their web layers with precision, using controllers, services, and views. But maintaining these constructions was akin to keeping an intricate system of puppets in sync, with strings getting tangled and puppeteers needing to master every twist and turn. The RESTful Kingdom. Beyond MVC Town, there was the RESTful Kingdom. Crafting RESTful APIs required not only knowledge but also patience. Developers had to create controllers, meticulously handling each HTTP request and response. It felt like cooking a gourmet meal with an endless list of ingredients and steps. The DAO District. Journeying further, we arrive at the DAO District, a realm dedicated to data access objects. Developers had to interact with databases using JDBC or Hibernate. Imagine having to type out every single SQL command or map every database column to a Java object by hand. It was as exhausting as writing a novel with pen and paper. The configuration maze. One of the most challenging tasks in this pre-Spring Boot era was navigating the key configuration maze. XML files, annotations, and properties were scattered everywhere, like clues in a never-ending scavenger hunt. Developers had to ensure that every piece fit perfectly, or the whole system would crumble. The Maven Marketplace. Let's not forget the Maven Marketplace, where developers had to manage dependencies. Ensuring every library was compatible and correctly versioned felt like shopping for ingredients without knowing if they'd make a cake or a catastrophe. A single mismatch could spoil the entire dish. The Deployment Dungeon. Finally, there was the dreaded Deployment Dungeon. Once everything was built and configured, developers had to deploy their applications for testing. This process was fraught with peril, requiring careful handling of servers and environments. It was like sending a fragile vase through a mail system run by gorillas. The birth of Spring Boot. In 2013, a hero named Spring Boot emerged, bringing with it the promise of automation and simplification. Spring Boot took care of dependency management, auto-configured everything, and made deployments as easy as pie. No longer did developers have to struggle through XML files and version conflicts. Spring Boot provided ready-made setups and took care of compatibility issues. It was as if a magical butler had arrived, ready to handle all the chores, allowing developers to focus on building features and innovations. And so the Java developers rejoiced, their burdens lifted, as they embraced the simplicity and power of Spring Boot, living productively ever after.